Through the Church, Christ continues his mission as the Good Samaritan, caring for the bleeding wounds of humanity. There are many social challenges today, including a decline in faith, a lack of inclusiveness and family breakdowns, all of which are hurting members of our church and community.
The Diocese of Parramatta is situated in Western Sydney and the Blue Mountains, and it covers some of the most socially disadvantaged areas of the Greater Sydney Basin.
In the Diocese of Parramatta, many people generously support the works of faith, hope and charity, making it their own. These works positively impact thousands of lives across Western Sydney and the Blue Mountains. Support the Catholic Foundation today and help sustain faith, hope and charity across the Diocese of Parramatta. The Catholic Foundation proudly supports the Confraternity of Christian Doctrine and Holy Spirit Seminary, which are working to keep the faith. The Confraternity of Christian Doctrine provides faith formation and Christian learning to students in state schools. The main areas taught are the teachings of Jesus, gospel values, and the Catholic faith. Assisting students to encounter Christ is the great fruit of his ministry.
When you have children who naturally will pray because they've learnt that there is God and they can share their joys and sorrows with God, and so they share that in the classroom. I've heard stories of how students many years after their classroom experience will run up to a special religious education teacher, catechist, and want to recognise them and remind them they were in their class.
Holy Spirit Seminary forms young men for the priesthood and for a life of service modelled on Christ. It does this by providing a holistic approach to developing seminarians spiritually, academically, and in human virtue.
We have three kind of levels of vocation that we concentrate on. And the first level, of course, is one's relationship with God. The second vocation is one's relationship with one's family, good friends and peers. And the third vocation level is that of one's involvement and contribution to society. Now, it's in being able to mold these three together and integrate them that the future priest, because of their experience in seminary, will be able to take on the demands of the priestly ministry at every aspect.
Seminarians also engage in community service.
So at the moment, I work at a school every Friday.
Myself, I've been installed as an acolyte, so I also go out into the community here at Harris Park and take communion to the housebound.
On Fridays, I'm at Sacred Heart Parish in Westmead, where I help out Father Walter. I teach at Ropes Crossing Public School.
The Catholic Foundation proudly supports the Effeta Centre, which offers access and support to those who are hard of hearing and deaf. Many rely on the Effeta Centre for its sacramental programs, pastoral care and social support. The Effeta Centre is also considered another family and home.
At about the age of 14, I was told that eventually I would need to have some operations, which happened shortly after. I had tumours removed from both sides of my head, and that actually destroyed all of my hearing. And I can't really describe that feeling. When I first came here, when I was 16, to see people who were like me, and you know, at the time when I was feeling a bit confused and didn't know the kind of person I had to change into, and it just had a profound impact on me discovering who I was and who I would become as an adult.
Seminarians study Auslan at the Effeta Centre in order to minister to the deaf community.
You know, when a person wants to go to Mass or receive the sacraments, it's great that we have interpreters, but we don't want to take interpreters into confession. We don't want to have a third person there if we want to just sit down with the priest and talk to them. So to have a priest that can use my language is always the most ideal, the best way for me to be able to communicate.
The Catholic Foundation proudly supports Catholic Care Western Sydney and Blue Mountains, which is the official social services charity of the Diocese of Parramatta. Catholic Care provides disability services, including job training, and offers migrant and refugee services, including childcare programs for parents learning English and computer studies.
And there's great jubilation when they get the certificate, because they've never had anything like that in their life. Actually, they're happy when they can just write their own name.
Catholic Care also provides family counselling, problem gambling counselling, and supports young single mothers facing homelessness.
We've had girls living in tents down in the bush close to here, and so to be able to assist those girls, we sometimes say it's really nice to be able to hold them just for a little while till they settle, till they grow up a little.
We're not just another social service agency. We are the social service agency of the Catholic Diocese of Parramatta. We're owned by this diocese, we're owned by the people of the diocese.
The Catholic Foundation is your foundation. Please support our works today. The Catholic Foundation, sustaining faith, hope and charity today for tomorrow.
Although these works have been previously labeled diocesan works, I want to emphasize that these works belong to you. And without you, many people would not receive the good impact you provide. So join me and support the Catholic Foundation today to continue building faith, hope, and charity across Western Sydney and the Blue Mountains. Thank you, and God bless you.